자, 자, 우리 나레이션 말 좀 들어봅시다.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
뭐야? 뭐야?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
내가
To still be here.
왼쪽으로 간다 그래서 말을 듣겠다는 확률은 뭐가 있지? 내가 왼쪽으로 간다 그래서 내가
Feeling that Stanley was still just sitting in.
말을 들을 거라는
He wasn't even
확신은
there.
어디다가 갖고 있었지?
At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
아니 아무것도 안 하고 있다니 열심히 클릭하고 있잖아. 나레이션 너무하다 야. 나 열심히
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Well,
아무것도 안 하고
please offer me some
있다니.
explanation here. I'm genuinely
그
confused.
나랑 혹시 한국말 할 줄 아세요? 한국말 할 줄 아세요? 나랑 한국말로 얘기 좀 하자. 영어 말고. 내가 영어를 할 줄
You
몰라.
realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find.
Do you know Korea?
Clear to me, because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
빰빰빠바 빰빠바바바바바. Do you know Psy?
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
잠깐만. 이거 방사능 표시 아니야? 방사능 표시는 거 아닌가 이거?
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
미안해. 내가 매춘도 해본 적 없고 마약도 해본 적 없어. 미안해. 뚱뚱하고 못생긴 건 맞아.
About what's going on now.
너 나 캠이 달려있긴 한데 날 봤니?
You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here.
내가 뚱뚱하고 못생긴 건 맞아.
Your central
나
nervous
봤니?
system, and you collapsed on the keyboard.
나 패드로 하고 있어?
The responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your
나
body is
패드로
taken
진행하고 있어.
before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Instruct another to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game
나 고양이랑 자러 간다.
them. All right.
늘 고양이랑 주무시잖아요.
Out into the hallway.
어디까지 나레이션 나오나 보자. 지금 자러 갈 거임? 지금 자면은 밤낮 바뀌어가지고 힘들지 않을까요? 지금 잘 수 있겠어? 나레이션 다 나온 것 같기도 한데 지금 느낌상. 난 잘 안 바뀌. 그래요? 좀만 있어 봅시다. 근데 일단은 나레이션 나오긴 해가지고 그냥 계속 그냥 에이 거리면서 있던 건데 이제 나레이션 끝난 것 같은데? 진짜 계속 이러고 있어볼까? 이러고? 너 노래 좀 틀어줄까? 심심하지 않게? Drop the music? 알았어, 진행해줄게.
Second player, it's good to have you on board. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids.
이 나레이션이다.
You can hand the controls to
이 나레이션이다.
fungus. Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
이 나레이션이다. 안 나오네. 이거 닫으면 사라질까? 이 나레이션. 어이 나레이션. 튀어나와봐 나레이션. 알았어.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
계단을 올라갔습니다.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool
마음대로 눈 감지 마.
on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Huh?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She
Mariella.
rose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real.
이 새끼 지금 지 말 안 들어줬다고 나 존나 까는 거지 이거.
Comforting to think this. And in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension.
너 내 말 안 듣고 계속 오른쪽만 가가지고 넌 미친 새끼라고 하는 거지 지금 이거.
So it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided
자 왼쪽으로 가서
perhaps
진행했어요.
he had simply missed a memo.
자 이 정도면 다시 오른쪽으로 가도 되겠죠? 사실 여기 새로운 컨텐츠라고 있긴 한데 이것도 궁금하거든? 알았어.
Stanley came to
알았어.
the set of two open
알았어.
doors. He entered the door on his left.
알았어.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
아이고 참이지.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
알았어.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
내려가는 거 아니야? 오케이 알았어. 올라갈게. 여기 아까 거기 아니야? 나보고 얘기하라고 했던데? 그런 느낌이 들었어. 돈은 훔치려고 쓰는 거야. 물론 내 건 말고. 정말 자랑스러운. 극한의 화장실. 뭐 없네? 화장실에 들어가면은 뭔가 뭐 반응이 있을 줄 알았는데. 볼일 보는 시간 이해해주는 거겠지. 저 순간 이거 보고 그건 줄 알았어요. 그거 뭐지? 쿵푸 판다인가? 아 쿵푸 팬더. 있게 하면서 처음으로 조종점이. 아 참고로 이건 내 잘못 아니. 나레이션이 얘기 안 해줬어요. 내가 여기를 문을 열었을 때부터 반응을 했었어야 됐어. 그렇기 때문에 나는 이 엘리베이터 타고 위로 올라가는 거예요. 화장실 가라고 말 안 듣는 건 아이 싫으잖아. 언제까지 내려갈까? 이거 아무리 봐도 뽀대 같거든요 이거. 이거 그냥 반응 안 하는 것 같아.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
스토리대로
Stanley
진행.
just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
그래. 나는 지금 내가 스탠리가 됐어. 그래. 몰라. 아무리 생각해도 나는 몰라. 어떤 나레이션이 알려주는 것 같은데. 아 몰라. 안 들려. 안 들려. 자, 모든 경우에서 다 해볼까요?
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself.
에이 개새끼야. 마음대로 진행시키지 마.
Sorry. Well, whoop-de-doo.
아 근데 맞잖아요. 얘가 아까부터 너는 스탠리다 하면서 뭐라 했잖아. 나 아까 전에 비밀번호 뭐였어요? 2852였나? 비밀번호 뭐였어? 2 8 아이 왜 이리네? 잠깐만요. 여기가 8이야. 아 0이었어. 자 2 여기가 8 다음 4 여기가 바로 가운데가 5. 아 안돼. 아 안돼. 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 이러면 진행된 것처럼 되잖아. 안돼. 이 나라션 개새끼. 야 이때 누르면 반응 없을 줄 알았는데. 개자식. 버튼 자체를 난 방금 막아놨구나. 개자식. 에이 나레이션 개새끼.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Whoops, nope, never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me.
아니 한 번만 말 듣고 뭐라고
He knew that
해보라고.
it would just lead back to his boss's office. Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
내가 왜 방금 왜 다시 올라갔는지 알아요? 얘가 내려오면서 아 위에를 좀 더 살펴볼 수 있었던 감성이 생겼던 것 같은데 라고 해가지고 내가 지금 위에 누르니까 I'm sorry 이랬던 거예요 얘가. 그래서 문 열어라.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
말했죠? 아, 나는 얘가 위에 좀 더 다시 돌아볼 수 있어? 라고 해가지고 나 다시 올라온 거야. 아 다른 거 없어. 나 나레이션이 위에 더 돌아볼 수 있어? 해가지고 난 다시 올라온 거야. 그래서 나 이러고만 있으면 뭐 아무것도 반응 없어? 이렇게 알았어. 알았어. 아이고 참.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
너 또 나 건든다 너? 너 나레이션 너 똑바로 해라. 너 뭐라 그랬어 아까 너?
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
얘가 먼저 다 건드렸잖아. 이것 봐 아무것도 못하고 사장실 다시 내려가는 것 봐. 이러면서 날 건드렸잖아. 그러니까 안에 뭐가 더 있다는 거지 지금 여기 안에. 그러니까 더 있다는 것 같은데 내가 못 찾아가지고 이거 못 찾았네 라고 하는 것 같은데 지금. 날 건드렸어 이 게임이.
Oh my god. It's the boss's office. This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this. Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process.
얘가 이제 나가지고 노는데요?
All right, I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
오케이 진행해줄게. 하지만 너 나레이션 또 한 번 엘리베이터 가서 뭐라고 해서 나 건드려봐. 나 다시 올라온다.
Of course. Going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is, a breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
얘 너 나 다시 다 건드렸지. 오, 이제 반응 안 하나?
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow? There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big explosions flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises, to have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal? This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley, because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why, oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh, good, we're here.
지역 바뀌었어.
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
무대에서. 자키님은 이거 주무시러 가셔가지고 못 봤네. 이것 봐. 계속 이 짓거리 하니까 뭔가 지금 되잖아, 지금. 이것 봐. 뭐 있네, 지금.
Ah, yes, here it is. Just
내가 다 설레. 뭐야, 앉았어? 뭐야, 앉았어? 뭐야, 무대로 가는 문. 다시 돌아가 볼까? 아이.
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry. You'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley.
잘못됐잖아.
Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
한번 먹여보자? 너 지금 나랑 지금 싸우자는 거지, 너. 너. 일로 이거. 대왕자랑? 우리의 위대한 알렉산더 대왕과 나 대화를 나눈다. 이건 또 뭐냐? 피자를 개발한 피자를 개발한 바로 그 남자. 피자? 아, 저기도 있구나. 주님? Ladies and gentlemen. 어?
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
예! 드디어 게임이 내가 원하는 대로 받는 거야. 자, 이 게임 내가 엔딩을 보일 수 있는지부터 나도 너무 궁금하다. 내가 본 엔딩은 딱 하나밖에 없어. 말 존나 안 들어가지고. 시작해보자. 가보자. 르르르르. 아, 아무리 여기는 좀 그래. 여긴 좀 이따 들어가야지.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
잠깐만. 게임 틀이 바뀌었는데 여기서 오른쪽으로 들어가면 어떻게 되지?
Not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
아, 뭐야? 이거는 정상 반응하네? 나 이거 안 될 줄 알았는데.
And here it was, the lounge. What a room, Stanley thought to himself. What a room, what a room, what a room.
What a room.
This is what Stanley thought.
Very good.
What a room. What a room, what a room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
그래.
And
진행해줄게.
detoured through the maintenance section.
그냥 제가 살게야. 아, 돌아왔잖아.
Back on track.
저 뭐야? 앞으로 가서 뭐라 그랬어? 야, 앞으로 가서 뭐라 그랬어? 앞으로 가서 옆으로 가서 일로 이렇게 가라 그랬어? 뭐라 그랬어? 이건가? 아니, 그냥 아무리 봐도 이거 같은데? 그러니까 못 봤죠, 서로. 이건 합법적으로 나 이거 누를 수 있다고 봅니다. 서로 못 봤잖아. 응? 알았어. 이리로 가줄게. 이리로 갈게. 자, 말한 대로 들을게요.
There was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
야, 이 개새끼야. 야, 이 개새끼야, 문 열어. 문 열어. 아, 현실이었으면 이거 내가 다 뜯어버리는 건데. 아, 현실이었으면 이거 내가 다 뜯고 다시 들어가는 건데. 아, 현실 뭐 없나? 이거 뭐 100번 누르면은 뭐 다시 열린다는 거 바다작거리면서. 그래서 나 웃거리고 이제 나레이션이 뭐 그런 거 없어?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
이거 대사 바뀌었네요? 사실 이거 다시 들어온 이유가 나 이거 글 보고 싶어서 그래요. 이거 글이 바뀌어서 혹시 바뀌었나? 라는 생각 들어가지고 봤는데 바뀌었네? 오.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. but his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
아 뭐야, 스탠리가 찾아가지고 그렇게 해서 바꾼 거 아니었어? 제가 아까 말했잖아요. 제가 비밀번호 막 누른 이유가 스탠리는 그걸 모를 거다
Sat around
라고 말했잖아.
Trying
그래서
to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
그래, 내가 그래서 그 말을 했던 건데 얘가 그래가지고 바꾼 줄 알았거든요. 알았어.
2845.
한 번만 틀려볼게. 한 번만 틀려보자. 한 번만. 오케이, 알았어. 자, 2, 8. 자, 잘못 눌렀다.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
아이, 이게 패드다 보니까 누르기가 힘들다고. 좀 이해 좀 해줘요. 좀 이해 좀 해줘요. 나 근데 한 번만 더 실험해봐도 돼요? 솔직히 자켓님, 솔직히 궁금하지? 아, 궁금하지 않아? 이러고 다시 올라가면 진짜로? 아무리 봐도 궁금하지 않아? 아무리 봐도? 이건 청개구리 실부가 아니야. 솔직히 초반에는 내가 청개구리 실부가 맞았어요. 하지만 지금은 솔직히 한 번만 눌러보자. 한 번만 눌러보자.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
아, 이건 똑같네. 아까 대사가 이랬어요. 아까 대사 이랬어. 오케이. 이제 내려가서 진행할게요. 아, 궁금증 해결. 궁금증 해결. 뭐야, 왜 안 내려고 보내줘? 아, 여기 들어가야지 트리거가
Here we
작동되나?
are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that
나 알았어.
storytelling
아,
that you have.
궁금했어. 내려가자. 내려가서.
Points.
알았어, 미안해. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Compromising narrative. Wow.
고멘나사이.
I'm bolted to the edge of my seat. Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen.
이것 봐. 나 비꼬 왔다니까? 나 비꼬 왔어. 비꼬 와가지고 내가 아까 다시 올라갔던 거야. 얼마나 빡쳐.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he?
이거 반응 안 하네?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
아이, 알았어.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
이건 CCTV.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life,
그 와중에 저거 해고되면 뭐야?
control, never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life, for he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
뭐야? 이건 아무것도 없네? 자, 맵 한밤 정도는 마음대로 해도 되죠? 진행만 나레이션 말대로 진행하면 되니까.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
응? 아까 키라 그랬나? 나 솔직히 말해서 자막 안 봤어요.
And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
이거 안 나가면 반응이 있을까? 알았어, 나갈게. 근데 이것도 되게 그냥 네, 알았어요.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
네, 스탠리 패러블 나레이션의 말을 이제 마음대로 하셔도 터치 안 한다고요? 그러니까 이제 자러 가겠다는 거지? 자, 일단은 네, 스탠드 패러블 다시 한번 녹화를 끊었다가 다시 가도록 할게요.